Hello.
Hello, Luke Wallens.
Sorry, I was posing as Emily. I'm like, I'm trying my best, Emily, right now.
You're doing great. You're doing a
Yeah.
great Emily impression right now. It's pretty on point. Uh, if you are joining us, which you obviously are, this is improv on and off the topic, but we have a stand-in guest. We have a stand-in guest who is Luke Wallens, registered drama therapist. And it's amazing because, well, we're standing in because you know who Emily Arnold Fleming is about to have a baby. She's not in the process of having a baby right this very second,
No.
but she's 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
And dang diggity dang, I don't know if you've ever been pregnant, Luke, but I haven't, and I hear it's work.
That's what I hear too. There's a lot of factors that go into it that I've read about. Talk to my mom about it.
Yeah, me too. And she said a lot of things. Well, not I didn't talk to your mom. I talked to my mom, and and then she said lots of things about
Yeah.
being in hospitals and people
Mhm.
not listening to what you have to say sometimes
Yeah.
as just giving birth, and
Mhm.
pain and joy and love and all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we're here today. Luke has no idea what we're going to talk about because he bravely just stepped into the unknown, which is
Yes,
our topic.
that's true.
Stepped into the unknown today without warning, and it's great. And Luke, what's I what I had put up for today is talking really sort of candidly about the change, the
Mm.
unknown of change, and really about when you create something and it and you have an idea for what this thing is,
Mhm.
and then it changes on you. You create it and you put it into the world like Emily is about to do. She's about to create life and then put it into the world. And for me, the life that I've created has been on and off, and it has been in the world, and
Mhm.
it is changing. Our creation changes.
Mhm.
And that's what I wanted to, like, how do we deal with that change? And what does improv teach us about how to deal with that change?
Yeah.
And specifically, since you're here, how in the world of drama therapy do we even like look at change through that lens? So
Yeah.
those are just the couple of things I wanted to talk about, Luke. How you feeling?
Got it. Cool. All right. So step one. So, it's like it when you were talking about that, like it just reminded me, like I haven't had the experience of having a baby or anything like that, but I do know what it's like to create something and just kind of release it out to the world. I've written, in a very small way, written plays,
Yes.
and
In a
so
very big way.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and so like personally, it was just kind of like, oh, I had this idea in my brain, this expectation of how it was going to go, or how or what I was imagining it as I was creating it, and then all of a sudden, like there are other people that are collaborating on it that have completely different ideas about it, and so I see what improv does with that, is like, okay, gonna yes and you're gonna take on the idea and play with it and see how it goes,
Mhm.
in the most ideal kind of collaborative situation and everything like that. And then with drama therapy through that lens, it's more of like, okay, I'm going to I'm going to see how I am internally about, like, okay, this is what I'm going to get to know what I expect of this creation, and then I'm going to see how I react to it, and then moving forward, how can I figure out the next steps that would be the most respectful for myself as well as another person. So it kind of intermingles with improv too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The thing you said that's sitting with me is what what did I expect? Like what dealing with what I expected um from the thing that I created. And that what a question, right? Because I'm thinking two paths here. There's some expectation that comes with the actual thing, as in if you write a play, you're like, okay, I expect the lighting to look like this. I expect the actors to move across the stage this way. I expect it to sell out. I expect us
right,
all to go to Broadway,
yeah,
right? These types of things. But there's also an emotional part that we don't think about or talk about, I feel like, which is I expect that I'll be happy
yeah,
or when this is on stage, or I expect that other people will be moved when it's on stage. I expect that I will feel fulfilled when this creation is created.
mhm,
And I don't know if I have ever thought about just sitting with and thinking about the emotional expectations of something that I was creating or other people are creating.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Uh, because yeah, like, and also, like, I mean, relating it to, like, to change too, about, like,
Mm,
I expect there's also there may be a subconscious or conscious thought about, like, I expect to change this much, but then maybe
mm,
I changed this much and I didn't realize what happened, or people are expecting me to change this much, and it didn't happen that way. I need to take it more in an incremental, smaller way, that still feels safe and consenting, for me to take the next steps towards.
mhm. There's where our big theme is exploration, right? For the year. And one of the things that I'm hearing you say as far as that change, oh man, like is so you think about expecting to change in either how much or in a certain way.
Mhm.
And on the other side of it, my immediate thought is, man, disappointment, right? I
Yeah,
didn't change in the way that I thought I was going to change.
right.
Uh, but where this is where the exploration comes in, there can be a conversation that you have with yourself with, okay, well, I didn't change the way I thought I was going to change, but is it possible for me to explore what this other change is, right? So I thought I was going to become a millionaire, whatever. I was going to open this business and I thought I was going to become a millionaire.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't do that,
Yeah,
but maybe I was written up in a magazine. I don't know, but you
yeah,
changed in a different way.
yeah,
How do we explore? It's worth exploring that change so that we don't get wrapped up in the disappointment that
yeah.
we feel with the other expectation, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. And just hearing you talk about it, like, the word balance came up for me a lot, about, like,
Mm,
finding, like, okay, how can I balance with this change, with this thing that happened?
mhm,
Like, I was going to be a billionaire, and then I get a magazine write up. Like, how do I balance that out in my brain? And we consciously or subconsciously figure that out,
mhm,
or figure it out in a couple different ways. Maybe it's compartmentalizing. Maybe it's just like, okay, I'll deal with that later, whatever, or suppressing it. Or it could be embracing it fully. Going the full on yes and improv moment. about like, okay, cool, I got that magazine print up and I'm going to put it everywhere and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to have a lot of people like understand where I'm coming from. And they're going to know that I, am focusing on this magazine article to get another magazine article, or to network and build my
Mm.
billions that way. So I'm still going to focus on my goal. So yeah, so things like that people make like those choices but with a kind of a you know how they navigate after the initial information that like, oh, this change happened.
Yeah.
How I react to it. Yeah.
There's you said this. You said I'm going to I'm going to use my network to make my billions this way, right? There's something so important about not necessarily losing focus or thinking that the goal or the expectation is completely done.
Mm.
Which I I love talking to smart people. You're smart.
You're smart
Because
too. Yes.
well, thanks, but thanks. I but it's great to talk to someone who's outside of yourself, because you forget. It feels so well, I didn't make my billions off of that. I'm just going to release that goal completely. But what you're saying is we don't always come to the goal the way we expect to come to the goal, which is so annoying.
Ugh.
Well,
Ugh. Yeah.
because we really have this idea that, okay, well, these are my three goals, and the way I'm going to reach these goals is like is these three paths. And
Yeah.
then on the other side of it, if we're so focused on the path, and even if we're so focused on the goal, that we can't change, we can't explore, we can't, like we were talking about,
Yeah.
we can't explore what we do have, and maybe, all right, maybe we can re-navigate, maybe we can switch up the paths,
Yeah.
maybe the goal can still be had, but it comes later than we thought. These are all, as we're exploring the unknown.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great to have like a goal within the unknown or paths or whatnot, but we can continue to explore those things
Yeah.
even after we pass the marker of the
Right.
goal. Mm.
Right. Yeah. And like, yeah, because like change doesn't mean that the goal is gone. It doesn't mean that the journey is stopped. A change just is a change. And yeah, it affects the goal, affects the journey for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's, but and uh like I would definitely drama therapeutically. I would definitely encourage like exploring that how you felt about that change a lot,
Mm.
to give you a way to figure out like, okay, am I going to continue on this path towards this goal in this way now, or do I need to just take a break from it and find a different goal, or things like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. We, in the little thing in my little blurb, I was like, I'm going to speak candidly about this, which, I haven't yet. But the candid part about this whole journey is the change of Emily leaving to give birth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what that does to our crew, the way our crew changes, the responsibilities, all of those very interesting things. And in talking to you, I'm just like, right, all the things that Luke is saying, because right, you start thinking about, well, I thought it was going to go like this, and I wanted it to be like this. Now this person has changed it. It's changed.
Right.
As if I'm not an improviser and I've never experienced change before, but
What?
it's different than I thought.
This scene? What?
Right? right? But
Yeah.
you go through these things, and I love what you said about change isn't the end of the journey. It's just change.
Mhm.
It's literally just that, which is what we do in improv all the time. We learn to adapt in the moment because, right, we give an offer, like, this is
Mhm.
our offer,
Yeah.
and we come onto stage like, this is my offer. I'm a tree in the redwoods.
Mhm.
Obviously, a giant lumberjack is going to come down and cut me down. That is what's going to happen. I'm a giant tree in the redwoods. And
Mhm.
here come two people to have a picnic under this tree. And you're like, what are you doing? You're not a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Get your
No,
picnic out of here.
what's that? Yeah, yeah, you're out of the scene. Yeah. Start over, redo.
Start over. Blackout. Blackout.
Yeah,
Hey, 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 hey. Turn the lights down.
yeah,
Braid in.
no.
Turn the lights
Turn
down.
up the music, do something.
Do something while I talk to these people and tell them what they're supposed to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But improv doesn't teach us that. It
No.
teaches us that we make an offer. I'm a giant redwood. The offer is like, yes, and it. Yes, I see that you're a giant redwood, and this is what I have to offer
Yeah.
to your storyline.
Mhm.
And now I also, like you said, the scene doesn't end. The
Yeah.
change isn't the end, it's a change. So, how do I adapt in this moment to continue to create a story with these these picnickers?
Yeah. Oh, those. Yeah, yeah. No, it reminds me of improv exercise that I did when I was first starting improv, and Ruby had said that, like, she was like, okay, we're gonna form a tableau. And everyone's going to be just a frozen statue in this tableau, and I'm going to give you a setting. So you're going to be all forest creatures, and and different parts. Everyone froze where they were and everything like that. And then she goes, "Okay, you guys are in the library. Go." And so, like, we had to just jump and justify, like, why I'm doing this in a, in a
In a
library.
library.
I just, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want this tiny little book right here. This is what, but anyway, so, and it's like, but your brain will go for it. Like, your brain will find those changes and find those avenues, because you
Mm.
still, like, in that case, still wanted to play a character, and maybe my character was informed because it keeps its body so small, so, and just to play with it. But I mean, and it's a really fun way to exercise, to figure out how to accept change really quickly on the turn of a dime, um, and to explore the fun ways that this change has occurred too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I want to take this moment, as we always like to do, to say hi to Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi. Yeah.
And then I know Charlotte has gone through tons of change, moving all over the place,
Yeah.
finding friends in new places. If you're watching, tell us in the comments, or get on Discord and tell us. But let us know what kind of change you're going through and what you've done to, you know, ease the change. Go
Yeah.
with the flow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and also, like, to come back to, with Emily, like, having a baby, and the company dynamic changing and everything like
Hmm.
that. Like, there's also, like, this anticipatory change. So we knew that was going to be happening. That was slow build. So yeah. So and so, like, there's a lot of things that we were all doing to prepare for that,
Hmm.
and we're figuring out, like, okay, cool, what does it mean, um and so, and it's I really, I like that change, because it's slow paced. It's like, okay, cool, we got it, great, yeah, little bits at a time. So, yeah.
Hmm.
It's great. But at the same time, it is a change, and so it's a lot of, like, spending time to really come to terms with it, figure out different thoughts and pathways as well. um,
Yeah, I like this. because what you're talking about to me is community, which is last year's topic.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like, right, we'll never talk about community again. It's last year's topic and it's
That's
done,
it.
over. Community, community.
Yeah.
But you're talking about you're talking about being open and honest with change that is happening in your life, right? Because it affects your community.
Yeah.
And when we are open and honest in that way, our community comes towards us to adjust, to help us
Mhm.
adjust. I mean, if we're taking Emily's pregnancy, like that's what a baby shower is, right? You tell people you're having a baby, and yes, you get gifts and you play games, great, great. But what it really does is solidify for you and your community, your friends, hey, there is actual change coming. And so now we get to make a shift. We get to give you, literally, I was going to say nipple clamps, but I don't think nipple clamps, and that's not what we're talking about.
No,
Like,
no.
breastfeeding apparatuses, you can
Right, yeah.
tell.
Nipple clamps with tubes. I don't know. Yeah.
What, they're,
I don't know. I don't breastfeed,
I'll
so
just edit this out
yeah.
of our live thing. But what I'm trying to get at is we do this thing together, right? You were talking about the dynamic changing and whatnot, but we did know that this was coming. And when I think about that for on stage, for like improv time,
Mhm.
that's what having a troupe is,
Yeah,
right? We are, once you give your offer, we know as improvisers that what we're going into is literally the unknown, right? We don't know anything about this scene, but we do know that we're going to have to adjust and support each other
mhm.
step by step by step. So we learn to do that quickly so
Yeah,
that when we are in these kind of situations, like where there's a nice slow burn of
yeah,
change, we also can, yeah, we have the time to like soak that change in. What does it mean for me? What does it mean for them? What does it mean for everyone? How can I support this change?
yeah. And regardless of the timing of the change and uh uh there's like I really like the tool that you had brought in, being like, look, open and honest communication like throughout.
Mhm.
Like that will work regardless of like how quick or slow the change is. Um,
Mm.
'Cause I really like it as an audience member, but also as an improviser, when an improviser says like, "Wait, okay, wait. What?" Sorry, sidebar, what are we, so we're clarifying the change that happened, and then, "Okay, cool, I can play back again," like, and it seems counterintuitive, but at the same time, you're coming to a new point of open and honest communication, and also
Mhm.
just, like, just setting back into, like, "Okay, how can I get him?" Like, I wanna get on board, but I don't know what this scene is, and so I need to
Mm.
help figuring it out. And so,
Yeah.
and I think, oh, in vulnerability too, that's another good tool to have, about like, and being aware of your vulnerability and be like, hey, like, I'm not comfortable with this change, or I am comfortable with this change. Um, or irregardless, can we, or including, can we figure out how to work with it? Hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah,
I you said open and honesty, vulnerability, like sort of a timeout.
hmm,
Um, I wanted to say yes, that timeout piece, like, hey, where are we?
yeah,
Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, I love what you said about that. Like the idea of being able to say on stage, whoa, everybody time out,
yeah,
like where are we, so we can reset. And that makes me think of what we're talking about today, which is like, what is the baby that you're creating, what is your creation that you've created, and when it changes, being able, especially if it changes in a way that you are unsure about, being able to say, okay, I want, like you said, I want to get on board with this change. Like, I
mm,
want to support you, but I need a tiny timeout so you can explain to me what's happening and how I can support. And we can do that on and off the stage.
True, 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 true. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think it's super important to have that kind of like dialogue, because it takes a lot to be open and honest as yourself, and then also to trust that you're going to be heard, and
Mhm.
by your scene partner, or by a person that you're relating to in real life, and but once that is there, like, handling a lot of change, and handling whatever comes next, whatever unknown comes next, it's a lot easier to work with, because you can always come back to that, and you always have that within yourself and with other people. Yeah.
Can you talk more about you can always come back to that?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, like there's like sometimes, like in terms of friendship, it could be like you could assume something about another friend, be like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
they'll be fine, with this movie, or they'll be okay.
Mhm.
If I have a party with a million friends, they'll be okay. And maybe that friend, has an issue, with the timing of the movie, or with the movie itself, or like at the party, there's like a couple of X's there that you didn't realize, so it's like, it's like, oh no, yeah, there's my dog. So yeah, she wants to join in. Here, come here. Yeah, this is Khaleesi. She says hi.
Hi,
So,
Khaleesi.
yes.
Hi. This You're doing great because the cat when Emily's on, we talk about her cats. The cats are around. Khaleesi's great.
Yeah, yeah. So she wants to jump in. But yeah, like, and so it's just kind of like figuring out, like, and then going back to your friend and being like, hey, I can't make this movie time, or I don't really want to see this movie. It's not for me.
Mhm.
Or like, I don't feel comfortable at this party. Can we figure out a way that we can all party,
Right,
maybe in different times, or different rooms, or something like that?
right.
So, but the tool that you can always come back to, about like, hey, time out. I need to talk with you.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah,
Got it. Yeah. That is it's not hard.
right.
It just takes practice. It
Yeah.
just it just takes practice, and it's funny because change is, they say inevitable sort of deal. We're always changing in increments.
Mhm.
And when when if we can remember that we are always changing, maybe we can also remember to check in with each other more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because it can feel like, oh, everybody just gets up, we brush their teeth and we wash our face. We get up, we brush our teeth, and we're doing
mm,
those things. But maybe like in the tiny increment, like the toothpaste has changed,
yeah,
or your gums have gotten sensitive. And I'm thinking of partners, right? Like if you're living with someone or even friends, but oh, just checking in with them. Like,
yeah.
how listen, I check in with my friends' gums. I don't know about y'all, but I have friends who have sensitive gums, so I ask them about it.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
And when you hear something like, "Oh, I heard about this toothpaste that's supposed to help your gum." The point is that this is the point. I'm not a dentist, but the point is that when we check in, when like you said, as far as the movie or the party, rather when we make assumptions, right? It's very hard to go back. But if we can remember, like, hey, just everyone is changing at all times. Like, let me just check in with my friend. Then
Mhm.
change doesn't have to be so scary on both ends, right? It doesn't oh, not scary, but surprising.
Yeah,
Surprising.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, you can like anticipate for the change a little bit better, knowing. after a lot of honest conversation has been shared. So yeah.
And guess what? You're gonna catch on to this, Luke. It's gonna be real easy. You can share, friends and family. Thank you for watching. You can share honest conversation both on and
off the stage.
you got it. Bye, everybody.